Hello yogis, welcome to my channel. My name is Kathy, so glad to have you here with me today. So today's class is all about the hamstrings. We're going to be working on some stretches that you can practice either individually or as part of a flow to help guide your body, especially your lower body, into a little bit more openness, a little bit more flexibility, and we want to make sure we're doing this in a very safe manner. So everything here is focused on stretching through the hamstrings, so all the postures that we're going to be exploring through will continue to build on that flexibility. So it's a little bit different than my usual practice, but we're still going to make sure that we warm up our body a little bit before we get into all the stretching. So you're going to need 1 or 2 blocks for practice, as well as a strap. I'm going to leave in the description box below a few options that you can use if you don't have access to these props, a couple of different things that you can probably find around the house. I just want to say that I'm very, very grateful for everyone who is practicing along with me at home, and just want to remind everybody that this is a temporary situation, but if you are finding that you're struggling to keep up with the changes or adapting to your new norm, that is totally okay. And just make sure that you're taking time for yourself, whether it is exercise or calling friends and family, that you are staying connected and trying to do things for yourself and making it a little bit more manageable for you. So when you're ready, let's get started. And as always, if you enjoy this video, please remember to give it a thumbs up, click on the subscribe button as well as the notification bell to get weekly yoga videos from me. So we'll begin our practice making our way down onto our backs, nice and slowly recline back. You can grab a block with you. We're going to press down to the feet. Inhale to lift the hips up. Take the flattest side of the block and rest your sacrum over the top. So your sacrum is that flat piece of bone right above your tailbone, using that as a support to rest your body. And knees can stay bent, or we can stretch the feet forward, coming into a waterfall shape. So already we are opening up through the hip flexors, the psoas. So nice and gentle stretch here. So we're going to take a quick moment to center ourselves, preparing for practice. Take an inhale, reach the arms up overhead, big stretch through your fingers, maybe turning up the wrists. And as we exhale, allow the arms to come out with the elbows bent, palms facing up. So gently opening up through the front of the body. Closing the eyes here, bringing ourselves not just physically, but mentally preparing our bodies for practice. Taking a few easy breaths in and out through your nose. As you breathe in, feel the belly rise. Air filling up through the rib cage, lifting up, breathing all the way up and towards the chest. And as you exhale, slowly release, allowing the air to slowly escape through the nostrils as you breathe out into the pit of the belly. A few more deep breaths just like this. Taking this time to find your rhythm, finding balance, relaxing the shoulders, the hips. Take this time to still the mind. Now I know we are all very busy in our day-to-day, especially now adjusting to new routines and schedules. We might have a tendency to let our minds wander during this time, but reminding yourself that it's okay to take the next few moments to really pay attention to how we're feeling, how our body is behaving, without any distractions from outside your mat, outside of this space that you've created for yourself. So go ahead and take 3 more deep breaths, acknowledging any thoughts that might not serve you in your practice today. And on the next exhale, breathing it out, maintaining this breath, allowing this to help you through the practice as we practice different holds and postures, always being attuned to your breath, to this breath pattern. Now let's slowly open the eyes. We'll bring the arms back down to the floor, bending your knees one at a time. Bring the feet in together. Let's take an inhale, lift the hips up, and we'll slide the block out from under. So we're going to reach for our strap. So go ahead and grab a strap. So if you don't have a strap, towel, scarf, or belt can work great. I'll leave some different options for the props that we're using in the description box below, so you can take a look for your options later on. Picking up your right knee. Okay, we're going to bend the knee, bring that in close towards us with your strap, looping around the arches of the foot. Our bottom leg, so see how it feels here. Okay, with your right leg lifted, we can keep this bottom leg extended, or we can keep the bend in your knee. So wherever we are, we want to make sure that our low back is not arching completely. We want to gently tuck the tailbone under to allow the sacrum, the lumbar spine, to come flat against the floor. All right, we're going to reach up, one hand on either side of the strap. Take a breath in, flex the ankles, kick the heel up towards the sky. As we exhale, we're going to slowly bend the elbows, drawing that leg down closer towards us, bringing the elbows in towards each other, hugging it in. Now we'll take a few deep breaths here. So make sure this top leg has a slight bend in the knee. We're not locking at the joint completely. So we're starting gentle, okay, approaching our hamstrings nice and slowly without going to the max right away. Relaxing the shoulders down. 3 more deep breaths. And at the end of your next exhale, we're going to slowly release, bring a bend to your knee, release the foot back up. Take a breath in here. As we exhale, we're going to keep this knee bent, pull it in closer towards us, and then slowly start to extend. Notice if you can get maybe a slightly deeper range of motion in this position. And we're going to try to extend the knee a little bit more. Kick up through your heel. Try to extend through the back of the leg, holding and breathing here. 3 deep breaths. And we'll slowly release, bring that foot all the way back down. And let's switch sides. So this time we bring the right knee in towards us, plant the foot down. We're going to pick up the left leg, loop the strap or towel around the arches of the left foot. So we're going to start by flexing the ankle, kicking the heel up. Maintain a bend through this knee. We're not going for maximum yet. So nice and slowly. See how this hip flexor feels. Maybe our knee comes extended if that feels okay. So one hand on either side of the strap. Let's take a breath in. As we exhale, using your elbows, bend, keeping them close towards each other, so not flared out to the side. Wrap the elbows in towards the midline of the body. Maintain a bend through your top knee. So we're not locking at the joints. So a nice easy stretch here. Press your low back, your lumbar spine into the floor. Taking one more breath. And let's slowly release. Allow this knee to really bend, so almost at a 90-degree angle. We're going to kick up, release the foot. As we exhale, maintain the bend in the knee. Pull the leg close towards you so you get a little more depth. You'll feel a stretch in the hip socket as well. And then here, see if it's available to slowly extend through your knees, kicking up through your heels. Might get a little bit more depth and length here. So we're pulling the knee in, keeping it bent, and then slowly extending, finding length. So wherever you are, make sure there's a bend in the knee. And we're going to hold here, finding deep breaths, breathing to the hamstrings. 3 full breath cycles. And at the end of your next breath, slowly release, allow that knee to bend so you can remove the strap, place it off to the side. Let's hug the knees in towards the chest. Gentle side to side movements. And let's rock and roll up and down the length of our spine. Give yourself a little bit of momentum. And let's rock up. Take a seat, we'll face forward. Make your way up into table position, and as always, we need to make sure we take care of our spine. So, starting in table position, hips over knees, shoulders, elbows, wrists line up. Spreading the fingers, let's take an inhale, drop the belly, gaze up, arching through the back. As you exhale, chin to chest, so to press the floor away. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the heart, lift the sit bones. Exhale, tailbone tucks under, chin towards the chest. Inhale, looking forward, spine is long, extension. Exhale, chin to chest, start to spread the shoulder blades, finding spinal flexion. You can close the eyes here and move at the pace of your own breath. Finishing up your last cycle. And we'll all meet back in a neutral spine on the top of our mat. Okay, we're going to take our right foot back. Take an inhale, point the toes and extend. As we exhale, we're going to step that foot to the top of the mat in between our hands. You can reach for your blocks here. All right, so we're going to make our way up onto fingertips, or since we're just starting, you can use blocks underneath your hands. So 3 heights of the blocks, you can adjust them to whatever height works best for you. We're going to try and maintain alignment in our hips, in our joints. So our knee joint is directly over our ankle joints, toes are pointing forward. Allowing your hips to gently melt down, sink the sit bones, sink the tailbones down towards the ground. I'm going to come up onto the highest height and walk my hands back so that my hands are directly underneath my shoulders. Rolling the shoulders down, lifting up through the chest. So heart lifts, lifting up through the sternum. So this flat bone here. Taking a few deep breaths. Inhale to lift the heart. Exhale, relaxing the shoulders, feeling the shoulder blades drawing down along the spine. Stretching through the psoas. Now we're going to take our hands down onto the ground. Walk your hands back on fingertips or blocks, half splits. Exhale and flex the ankle. So really dig that heel into the floor. Allow the toes to flex and point up. Walking the hands back for balance. We're going to pull the sit bones back towards the heel. So remember, we're not looking for a full sit. You're not going to feel much stretch in this position. Maybe a little bit of stretch along the quads. What we're targeting here is the back of the legs, so the calf muscles as well as the hamstrings. So how we're going to achieve that is by flexing through the ankle, allow the heels to kick forward, and we're pulling our sit bones back. So lengthening across the front and the back of the leg. And there's room to go deeper. We're going to exhale, fold forward, drawing the crown of the head towards our toes. So reaching forward through the top of the head, pulling the sit bones back, along through the spine. Breathing here, 3 breaths. And slowly look forward, release. Let's walk our hands back to the top of the mat. And we're going to step back into our table and we'll switch sides. So left toes point back, inhale, extend. Exhale, take that foot to the top of the mat, stepping it forward or helping it through. So check your flexibility here. We're always going to be slightly different on one side compared to the other. So if it feels comfortable, you can keep your hands rested on the floor. Maybe we come up onto blocks. So checking our alignment first, knee over ankles, shoulders dropping down and relax. Hips are softening with every exhale. Sternum is lifting, so keep your chest lifted, collarbone spread and broadening across the chest. Taking a few more deep breaths. Now walking the hands back or on your fingertips. start to shift the weight back into your right leg. Left heel is digging into the floor. Left toes flex, pointing upwards. Try to keep this leg straight. So extension through the knee, looking forward, breathing here. And if there's room to go deeper, you can come down onto your fingertips if you like. Exhale, bowing forward, maybe reaching the fingertips back. Try to find your balance, maintaining length in the spine. So finding your variation, taking 3 deep breaths into the backs of the legs. And slowly release. Inhale, look forward. Let's crawl ourselves to the top of the mat. Removing the blocks. Placing them off to the side. Let's curl the toe, lift the back knee, and we'll step forward to the top of our mat. Coming forward into a ragdoll position. So allow the knees to bend as much as you need to rest the torso over. Grabbing for opposite elbows. Rocking side to side. Dropping your head, dropping your chest. Give yourself a gentle sway side to side. Now we'll slowly release, pressing down to your feet. Inhale, come all the way up. Sweeping the hands together. Exhale, hands to heart center. Let's do 2 rounds of sun salutations here to release and stretch the whole body. So breathing in, inhale, hands up. Exhale, we swan dive forward, hinging from the hips. Hands to the floor or your shins. Inhale, look forward, flat back, halfway lift. Hands down, step or hop back into your high plank. Bring your knees down to the ground. Exhale, look forward, shift the weight forward. Exhale, bending your elbows, lower down. Inhale, cobra, lifting the chest, drop the shoulders back. Exhale, downwards facing dog. Here, let's take a moment to take our hips from side to side and just pedal up the feet. In our first downward facing dog of the day, be gentle with your body, bending the knees, dropping the heel side to side. We'll take the gaze forward, step or hop the feet through top of the mat. Inhale, look forward, halfway lift. Exhale, we fold. Reverse swan dive, come all the way back up. Inhale, breathing the hands together. Exhale, hands to heart center. One more time, try to move with your breath. So inhale takes you up. Exhale, we swan dive. Inhale, halfway lift, stretch the spine. Exhale, hands down, step or hop back into your high plank. Exhale, we lower, squeeze the elbows in. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. We're gonna press into the palms, lift the chest through. Exhale, downward facing. Gaze forward, step or hop your feet through. Inhale, take a look forward, stretch the spine. Exhale to fold. Reverse swan dive, let's pick it back up. Inhale, hands together. Exhale, hands to heart center. We're going to keep the right foot forward, take a step back. Coming into pyramid pose or runner stretch. So there should be about 3 feet distance between our front and back foot. Hands are going to come to our hip crease here. So we're going to turn our hips a few times over to the right. So twist, twist, twist. Drawing that right hip back, sending the left hip forward. So when our hips are square to the top of the mat, we're going to take an inhale, lift up through the heart. As we exhale, hinge from your hip crease. Continue to drop the heart, leading through the sternum before you drop the head down. Here you can reach for your blocks, place it in front of your foot, or place it around for a bit of added support. Or you can go ahead and place the hands down onto the ground, drop the chin down towards the shin. Option to reach the hand back, bring the fingertips towards the toes, or we can grab for opposite elbows or wrists. If you're even more balanced and want to add on a bit of a shoulder stretch, we'll interlace the fingers behind the back, slowly extend the elbows, reach it up and overhead. So finding your version of pyramid stretch, want to make sure that the right leg, so the one that's extended, has a slight bend through the knee crease. Again, we're not locking out the leg completely. Check in with our breath. Full deep inhales and exhales. Breathing into the hamstrings. Inhale, we're going to release our hands down if you're in a bind, or release your wrists. Inhale, press into the feet. We're going to come all the way back up. And let's switch sides. So step the Left foot forward, we're going to take the right leg back. So about 3 feet distance between your front and back foot. So notice our hips are automatically on an angle. So we're going to take a moment to square our hips to the front before we start. So just to make sure our alignment is correct and that when we start to fold, we're actually getting the stretch that we need once we first align ourselves together. So hip bones facing the top edge of the mat, hands to your hip crease, take a breath in, lift up, sternum is lifting. As we exhale, continue to lift and lead through the heart, through the sternum, and then head comes down. Hand can come onto your shin, onto a block or 2 blocks. Okay, remember there's 3 heights to the block, so make sure you're taking the level that works for you. Micro bend that knee, so not completely extended. We want to keep that knee slightly bent forward. And when you're ready, go ahead and fold, dropping the chest, dropping the head. Hands can stay on the block, or you can take them down onto the floor. If you're really balanced, reach the hand back, fingers towards your right foot. Or option to reach back, grab for wrists, or we interlace the finger and release through the shoulder. One last breath here. And slowly release. Inhale, let's take a look forward. Exhale, we're going to step to the top of our mat. Bend your knees, pedal it out. Give a gentle release through the hips. Now we're going to keep the right foot on the ground. Slowly pick up the left leg, coming into your standing split. So we're going to start by kicking the foot back. Here you can place your hands down onto the floor or onto a block, raising the floor if you need to. So we're going to play with the extension of our right leg. So this leg in the back, the left leg, is going to act like a lever. So the higher you go, the more intense. The lower you go, the less intensity. So this left leg is also here for balance. You can, again, use blocks underneath your hands. Micro bend the standing leg. We're going to point the toes or flex the ankles. So lift the left leg up until you feel a nice stretch through your hamstrings on the right leg. But we don't want to feel any sharp pains. That's what we want to avoid. We want a little bit of challenge, a little bit of intensity. We still have to be able to breathe comfortably. So go ahead and drop your chest, drop your head once you're comfortable. So remember, this top leg doesn't have to come up super high. We can keep it lifted off the ground wherever you feel a stretch. So this is one of those postures where it's more correct to move to a position that feels right for you, as opposed to looking at what other people might be doing in their posture. So we're all different in our range of motions, in our flexibility. Very important to stay within your own range of motion to have a safe practice. All right, at the end of your next breath, slowly lower that leg down towards the ground, and we'll switch sides. You can pedal out the feet. Take the hips from side to side. So check out how it feels on the other side. Maybe we don't need the blocks. We're going to sweep the right leg back, micro bend the standing left leg. So go ahead and pick up the leg, flex the ankles, point the toes, see how it feels. And when you're ready, you can start to drop the chest, maintain a bend through the standing left leg. Continue to lift that right leg up as high as you can until you feel a stretch. So this is correct, and this is also correct. So I want you to practice and approach this posture based on how you feel in it. And what we're looking for is a sensation, a stretch through the back of the left leg, so the standing leg, in the hamstrings. There's a little bit of tugging, a little bit of pulling, but no sudden snapping or sharp pain. So we really want to respect our body movements, our range of motion, our boundaries. Now let's take another 3 deep breaths wherever you are. And we'll slowly release. Bring that foot down, pedal out the feet, give it a shake. And we're going to keep the left foot forward, take a step back with the right foot. Coming up into a warrior two stance. So our left toes are pointing forward. Our right foot is parallel to the back edge of our mat. We're going to bounce a few times, open up the inner thigh into the adductors. So go ahead and stretch out your arms, bounce a few times, allow that knee to come forward over the ankle. This is one of my favorite postures to practice flexibility and also open up through the adductor muscles through the inner thighs. So triangle pose is next. Standing up tall. We're going to reach the left fingertips forward, right hip will come back. As we exhale, revolve. So revolving from the hips, dropping the forearm down onto the shin. Top hand reaching up. So here, bottom hand can come to the floor or reach for a block, bringing the floor up towards you. We're going to take our torso and start to lean back, open up through the chest. Allowing our shoulders to stack on top of each other. Top hand actively reaching, extending through your right elbow. Pressing evenly through the front and back foot. Back foot is parallel, grounding to the outer edges. And from our front toes, you want to press down into the big toe mound, really digging the foot in. Slowly take your gaze down to the floor. We're going to release and pivot, walk ourselves to the long edge of our mat. Hand can come to the ground or onto your block. So we're going to take an inhale, look forward, halfway. Exhale, bow and fold. Allow a gentle bend through the knees as always. Head can rest on top of a block, or you can come down directly on the ground. So from this posture, the wider your feet are, the closer we're going to come towards the floor, so the more easily you can fold forward. If you want to challenge and really stretch into your hamstrings, walk the feet closer together and exhale, bow to fold. Wide-legged forward fold. Sit bones are lifting, chest is dropping down. Micro bend through the knees. At the end of your next breath, let's walk the hands out. Take an inhale, look forward, halfway lift. Exhale, we're going to heel toe the feet a little bit wider. Preparing for warrior two on the other side. So we're going to turn our right toes out. Left foot comes parallel. And we're going to face the back edge of our mat. So go ahead and bounce a few times into your hips, pressing down to the outer edges of that left foot. Reaching hands in opposite directions. And slowly straighten out that right leg. Reaching the right hand forward, left hip will come back. So pulling yourself towards the front edge of the mat. Exhale, we release from revolve. Hand comes down towards the ground, onto the floor or onto a block. We're leaning our chest back, shoulder stack on top of shoulder, reaching through the fingertips. So imagine your back is pressing flatly and firmly along a visible wall. Maintain the length of the spine and the stacking of the shoulder joints. So top shoulder stacks over bottom shoulder. Pressing evenly into your feet. One more breath. Take a gaze down towards the floor and walk our hands back towards center. This time from our wide-legged forward fold, we're going to switch it up into side lunges. We're going to continue to walk our hands over towards the top edge of our mat. Allow your hips to sink down. Here you can reach for a block. Okay, place the block underneath your sit bones. Or bring your hands onto a block. So this will raise your hips up and allow the weight to come forward into your hands rather than dumping it onto your ankle or your hips. So we're going to try moving from side to side. Exhale, lower. So start nice and slow. Keep the weight forward in your hands. Inhale, we come up. Exhale, we sink down. Remember to flex the ankle, dig the heel in to let the toes point upward, and now continue the stretch into the back of the calves, into the back of the ankles. So when you're ready without the block, we're going to crawl over. Hands might come to heart center. Flex the extended leg. Inhale to center. Exhale to sink. Moving a few more times with your breath. with or without a block. And let's inhale to center. Exhale, release. Dropping your hands down, facing the top edge of your mat. We're going to step back into downward facing dog. Take the hips from side to side and pedal it out. Taking 3 deep breaths here. And we'll bring the knees down to the ground, feet together, knees out to the edge of your mat, push the hips back, exhale, wide-legged child's pose. Take a moment here to regain control over your breath. Breathing deeply, relaxing the hips back. Taking one more breath in our wide-legged child's pose. Let's take an inhale, look forward. And we'll take a seat, swinging the legs through. So we're going to reach for our strap once again. So grabbing for your strap, looping around the arches of your feet. So I'm going to sit up nice and tall. Keep your legs extended. So this time, we're going to come into a seated forward fold, but don't feel like you need to completely extend your knees. If it's more comfortable and this is where you're working with, make sure you're in a comfortable position to start. So we're going to keep the knees bent if we need, or we can start with legs extended. So finding a comfortable position to start, reaching the hands around. Okay, so I'll start with knees bent. Taking an inhale, we're going to sit up nice and tall. Exhale, start to use the hands and use the strap to pull your chest forward. So this is where we might be staying, and that's totally okay. We're going to work on slowly extending through our knee joint, maybe moving them forward an inch, or just holding this position and allowing our hamstrings to get used to the sensations here. So that eventually maybe the legs will straighten, one or both. Drawing the crown of the head forward, inhale to lift up. Exhale, we start to bow forwards. And we'll slowly release. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, releasing the strap. Walk the feet to the edges of the mat. We'll give the knees a little shake. Bend the knees. And a little windshield wiper motion side to side to release. And when you're ready, we're going to come down onto our back. So slowly make your way there. Pulling the knees up and towards your chest. Let's grab for the arches of the feet. Open up and happy baby. So the knees are wider than our torsos. Knees bent, ankles flexed, soles of the feet pointing up. Now we're going to play with some variations here. We're going to draw the soles of the feet together, finding a butterfly shape. Take a few breaths into the hip crease. Continue to press down through your sacrum. So drop that tailbone, drop the sit bones towards the ground. Shoulder blades pressing into the floor. Neutral spine. Try not to turn your head from side to side. Okay, keep your gaze neutral. So avoid turning your head towards the left or right. You want to make sure the back or neck, so the cervical spine stays in a neutral position. Gently tuck your chin in so our neck isn't in extension. So from here with the gaze in neutral, we're going to extend out through the right knee. Okay, so you're going to play with picking up the leg, slowly straightening out through the right knee joint. Maybe if it's comfortable, you can extend all the way up to the side. Keep the heel pointing out, ankles flexed. And we'll slowly release, bring that foot back in, and let's try the other side. So start with feet together, neutral spine. We're going to release this left leg. Start with the knee bent. See how it feels. You start to open the knee, allowing the foot to come away from the body. breathing here. If there's room to go deeper, we extend completely, kick the foot out to the side, using the hand, if it's comfortable, to gently guide the toes towards the ground. We don't want to rock the hips up, so try to keep your hips rooted on the ground without rocking over. So sacrum, that flat piece of bone above the tailbone, continues to press down into the floor. And let's slowly release, bring it back to center. Now we're going to take the feet down towards the ground. We're going to pull the right knee in towards our chest. Left leg extends forward. So coming back to where we started in the beginning, we're going to see if our flexibility has changed at all, if our hamstrings have maybe loosened up during this practice. So reach for the back of your legs. We're going to walk our hands up as high as you can. Of course, you can always use your strap, but if you feel pretty open, just continue to walk your hands up. Maybe we grab for the back of the ankles, or we walk our hands all the way up towards the soles of the feet. Okay, so wherever you are, we're going to take an inhale, slowly kick up and extend, flex the ankles. On the breath out, we're going to draw that top leg in towards us. 3 deep breaths, see how that feels. And slowly release. We're going to bend the knee a lot to pull this knee down towards our armpit, so slightly away from the body. And we're going to slowly try and extend through the knee one more time. Exhale, kick up. And notice if there's any different sensations here. Maybe we can get our hands a little bit higher. Hips are a little bit more open. Hamstrings are feeling a little bit more happy, a little bit more lengthened. Now let's gently release, bring that foot down, nice and slowly, and we'll try the other side. So pull the left knee in towards the chest, right leg can stay bent, or you can extend it forward. Let's kick up through the sole of the foot. We're going to grab onto the back of the thigh, or slowly walk the hands up to wherever you feel comfortable. Let's take an inhale, kick up through the heel, ankle flex, slight bend through the knee. As we exhale, we're going to draw that leg down towards us, elbows bent. Take a few breaths here. Noticing there's any difference between now and the start of our practice. Try to keep your shoulders relaxed. I have a tendency to hug the shoulders all the way up to my ears. Really important to continue to maintain length in the body. So a lot of conscious body scanning throughout our practice. Now we're going to release the leg, take a bend in the knee, pull it down towards the chest, a little bit away from the ribs so you're not crushing the leg against your rib cage. So slightly away from the body, pull the knee down, and we're going to kick up and extend through your knee. Maybe walk our hands a little bit higher. You can grab for the ankles or the sole of the foot. Sending your breath towards the back of the leg. Once you're in position, we'll take 3 deep breaths. And we'll slowly release, nice and slowly bring that foot back down towards the ground. Bend your knees, allow the knees to fall in towards each other, so collapsing towards the middle of the body. Let's take an inhale, reach the arms up, stretch through your fingers. Rotate a few times, and let's take the hands down beside our bodies, palms facing up. Relax your shoulders, gently closing the eyes. Taking a moment to soften the expression on your face, relaxing the shoulders. Stay here as long as you like in your Savasana, allowing your body to absorb the benefits of your practice, and taking the time you need to cool down, to wind down, release physically and mentally. Thank you so much for joining me, everyone. I hope you found this practice useful. You can take away some different tips and stretches with you as part of your yoga practice. And remember, if you like my video, please give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment in the section below to let me know if there's anything else you would like to see or work on in the future. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful rest of your day.